We are back with a Fox News alert. A senior Border Patrol source revealing to Fox that over 1,500 Iranian nationals were caught at the southern border during the Biden administration. And now the Trump White House is preparing for possible sleeper cell attacks in the U.S. after Operation Midnight Hammer.
We know that a lot of people who we don't have full accounting of were let in over the last 4 years under the Biden administration. We know that some of those people were on terrorism watch lists.
There's no doubt the Iranian regime has tried to put active agents on the ground. That'll be a method by which the Iranians will choose to try and take vengeance and respond and to deter the United States.
We know that some terrorists have crossed that border. We'd be a fool to think zero cross. Between ICE and the Bureau, we've removed thousands of national security threats because of President Trump's leadership on this.
Former Deputy Assistant DHS Secretary and former Acting ICE Director Jonathan Fahey joins me now. Jonathan, how vulnerable are we to terrorist activity here in the U.S.?
We're very vulnerable to the extent that we don't even know who's here. So we don't know who's here, what they're doing. So this really goes back to what we've talked about so many times. The Biden open border left us vulnerable. The scary thing about it is the 1,500 that were caught, half were released into the country, but that doesn't even tell anywhere near the full story, because we know that we had about 2 million known gotaways come into the country during the Biden administration, and all these countries that wanted to harm us, including Iran, knew that they could get anyone across our border, that the Biden administration had no interest in protecting national security. So we should be very concerned. I'm sure the FBI, DHS has been all over this, particularly recently, tracking these people, finding them, and then probably trying to remove them, and we'll see how that goes. But yes, we should be alarmed, we should be concerned, but I do think they're focusing on it.
Okay, so the Houthis have already said that Washington needs to be attacked. So what are the chances of a lone wolf, not directly linked to Iran, but being inspired by this to attack the United States? Does that concern you more than an Iranian government orchestrated attack that can be proven and linked back to the Ayatollah?
Well, I think they're both concerning. Sort of the lone wolf attack is the scary thing about that is that's so hard to catch somebody if it's just one actor. And we know, one individual can do severe damage and also cause a lot of fear and everything else. But probably the greater concern as far as more devastation and loss of lives is probably a more coordinated cell coordinating with Iran or some other terrorist organization, because they'd have the ability, maybe expertise to do something more harmful. But certainly both are concerning, and it just shows that at our border, it's not only important to stop people from coming in, but anyone that comes in should be vetted, not just, to make sure they are loyal to the United States, not just that they want to work or something else, because we should not have to be vulnerable because of political decisions made by the prior administration, where all they seem to care about were bringing in as many illegal aliens as possible, and national security and public safety seem to be simply just an afterthought for them.
Okay, so what is DHS doing right now to keep Americans safe? Is there anything that our agencies weren't doing on Friday that is being done right now?
I don't know if there's anything they weren't doing, but my guess is they're ramping up anything on people from countries that are known countries of terrorists, particularly Iran, but other terrorist countries. So they're probably tracking these people down. They're also, what they've been doing is basically we've shut down the border, so nobody new is getting in. I shouldn't say nobody, because it's certainly possible some people are getting through. So they made it harder to get in, and then if you're here, it's harder to stay. And they're also actively removing illegal aliens. So all of these things are good. You do look back at the Aliens Enemies Act when President Trump invoked that for the Venezuelans and MS-13, and it does show how important tools like that are for the Trump administration or any administration to be able to remove dangerous or at least potentially dangerous people from the country and put American safety first and foremost ahead of all of these other interests.
Would you advise people to change their daily lives, their routines, not go to concerts, fly, take the subway? What about those sorts of changes?
I don't think that should be advisable now. It doesn't mean that there's not risk of things happening, but I don't think there's any reason to think that now. And I think if there was, the government would be advising people of that. And I'm sure the certain things you always hear, if you see something, say something. And people should at least be alert if they're seeing unusual behavior with people they see, or if they're in public places. But I don't think right now there's any reason people should alter their lives. And I'm sure if there was, the government, DHS, the White House would put out warnings, specific advisements. But right now it does seem like people should continue on doing what they're doing and just being alert.
A concerning element to this, which makes it all the more important to discuss. Jonathan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.